So I wanted to just provide an update really on where I am with the CDI situation in the Zoomer, which if any of you have seen any of my other videos, you may know was causing one or two issues. Now, I bought my Zoomer second hand. It's a 2007 model. You can't buy them new in the UK anymore. 2007 fuel injected UK spec model. Now, the previous owner, who ran a garage and used the bike for just nipping around London, he installed the Polini variator, great. He also installed a Leo Vince exhaust, great. And he installed a Polini CDI. Now, the Polini CDI is good in one way and bad in two. In a good way, it gets the bike up to 40, even slightly more than 40 miles an hour, which for a 50cc is great. You know, that's fine. And it does that. It works fine. It gets up the speed. I was happy with that. But there are two problems, and these seem problems that are quite normal for a Polini CDI. It's not the best system. One of the problems is difficult starting. Now, with a fuel-injected engine, you should just press the start button, engine fires up, away you go. That doesn't happen if you have the Polini installed. You sometimes have to press the starter button 2-3 times. You have to give it a bit of gas. It starts. I've never had it not start on me, but it's not exactly push and go. Now that's okay, I could live with that, frankly. The bigger problem is stalling. It is very bad at stalling. You pull up to lights, you take your hand off the accelerator, and the engine, 7-8 times out of 10 will die away and stall. Now, I don't like stalling. I don't think it's safe, and the only way to avoid it really with the Polini install is just to keep a bit of, throttle on. You don't have to keep much, just a touch of throttle on whenever you stop. Now that's fine. If you're not stopping and starting all the time, but if you're going through busy traffic and you're stopping and starting, it's a bit wearing having to keep your hand on the throttle the entire time, and it's probably not doing the engine much good either. So that was my biggest gripe with the Polini. So after a bit of thought and discussing with some of the other people on the various forums and Facebook pages for the Zoomer, etc., I decided at last to get rid of it. To me, that the problems did not outweigh the benefits. The problems did outweigh the benefits. So I decided to remove it, which actually was a half-hour job. It was easy to remove. Basically, the wires in the Zoomer are all colour-coded anyway, so you just have to find where the Polini CDI has been wired into them, remove it, and reconnect the original wires. Perfectly simple. You can use crimps, you can solder, whatever you want to do. There's room to do it. It's no problem. So anyway, Polini CDI, gone. What were the results? Well, immediately it starts on the button. You press the button, the engine starts, no problem at all. Now, the first time I tried it, I did find that if I let it run for a short time, it stalled out, and immediately I thought, uh-oh, have we got another problem here? But then I was advised by somebody that what I hadn't done is I hadn't cleared the engine control module memory. And you need to do that through the data link connector. Now this sounds complicated, but it's actually perfectly simple. You take a little cap off a bit up behind the battery box, and you short it out while you start the engine. It's in the service manual. What I'll do is I'll put the page up on the video at the end of the video once I've finished here, so anyone who doesn't have the service manual, which frankly you can usually find online, but if you don't have it, the page is there. It's dead simple. It does say you need a Honda tool for doing it. You don't. What you need is a paperclip. Now you'll notice my paperclip here has been augmented with some nice tape just to make it a little bit swankier. But basically this is a bent paperclip which you use to short out two of the wires. Now this is perfectly legitimate. This is what you're supposed to do to clear the memory. You short out two of the wires while you turn the bike on, and that clears the memory in the engine control unit. So basically you're starting afresh. The engine control unit is learning about how the engine is operating. Once I'd done that, the stalling problems completely disappeared. So removing the Polini, we had perfect starting on the button every time, as you should have with a fuel injected, and I could stop the bike, start it as often as I liked, at traffic lights, whatever, take my hand off, no stalling at all. It just idled away quite happily, whether I've been riding it for 5 minutes or half an hour, doesn't matter. Excellent. Now, of course, you remove the CDI, and you're going to have one problem straight away. Well, not so much a problem, but you're going to have an issue straight away. And that is the CDI, obviously, it takes out the engine limiter that is needed to meet the legal requirements of this country and others for a moped. So what happens, of course, is the speed drops right down again. Now, the moped is not supposed to reach more than, I think think it's something like that, miles an hour in this country. So you're back down to 28, possibly 30 on a good day, miles an hour. Now, I mean, I live in Edinburgh. The speed limits are all 20 miles an hour throughout the city now. It's not a problem for me. The bike is still good grunt, and because I swapped the Polini rollers for sliders. The pull away from the lights even up hills is really good. It meets the speed up going up a hill. It's not sluggish. It works up to the maximum speed it can now reach quite easily. So I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, the speed limit doesn't particularly bother me for going around the town. Now the only thing about that is I am a terrible tinkerer when it comes to these sort of things, and although I'll sit back, I'm quite happy with that for about half an hour, I'll then start thinking, I wonder if I should try something else. So what I've done is, having ditched the Polini, I have ordered a Kitako IMAP CDI, because this is apparently the best CDI you can get for a fuel injected zoomer. It's much better than the Polini. I think installation is a bit fiddlier, but I'm hoping I'm going to get the benefits of the CDI, which is a little extra speed if I need it, not a lot, but a little extra speed, and also keep the benefits of not having the CDI, or the old CDI, which is the starting and and no stalling, anything like that. So the Kitako IMAP is coming from Webbike in Japan. I won't be getting it probably until middle of September. They have to order it from the manufacturer, and then it gets sent out to me, and then it's in customs, and it does all these sort of things. So it's not something I'm going to be installing in the near future. In the meantime, I'm quite happy running around Edinburgh at 30 miles an hour. It does me, you know. And at the end of the day, if I put the IMAP, the Kitako IMAP in, and the problems I had with the Polini repeat themselves, or it's not as reliable as I want it to be, then all I'm going to do is remove it and sell it on, and at least my curiosity is satisfied then. But I'm going to give it a try anyway. So at the moment with the zoomer, where we are, we have the Polini variator still installed with the sliders. We have the Leo Vince exhaust still there. We're doing 30 miles an hour, 28, 30 miles an hour quite happily, uphill, wherever, it's going fine. But we don't have a CDI. It's a stock engine at the moment. And when that changes, when the Kitako arrives, we will look at installing that and see how we get on with that. So keep watching. Thank you.